welcome to Lights Camera Texas. I'm Billiana Regis, and today's guest is Michael Druck from Michael Druck Casting, and he's also based here in Texas and LA, and he submits coast to coast. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you.
So, what does a casting director do?
A casting director is basically a liaison between the client, the director, the product, whoever's signing the check, basically, or the creative involved, and the actor, or the talent, per se, whether it's actors, models, anyone with a special skill. We are that liaison, so between the two entities.
What kind of work do you normally cast for?
Okay. The type of work I normally cast for, I'd say majority of my work is commercial. That's just the work that we have in our market. And I'm also a very indie-friendly film casting director too. So if there's a pet project or an MFA thesis or a Sundance film, those are the ones I typically do. So it's a nice mix between principals for art films and extras and background and stand-ins for big budget commercials.
What advice would you give actors coming into the casting room?
Relax, be yourself. Bring what you're going to bring to the table. If there's any notes, of course, we'll send them to you. Sometimes I don't get the notes till the day of the audition, so there's it's just you and your sides. Sometimes the sides aren't available till you go to the audition. So I guess my first advice is not only just being on time, but 15 minutes early is good. Ducking in. If you are worried you didn't get sides, you can show up earlier than that. Just don't sign in. Don't linger in the lobby room. Because what if I'm not ready for you? Be on time. Look for your sides.
Don't
be
come
yourself.
Early.
Don't come super early.
Yeah.
Be on time. That's good. And then just be proud of the work that you've done, and just leave it at the door. After that, you've done everything you can do up to that point. And then if you get the call back, great. If you get feedback, that's awesome. If we have the time to sit down and give you feedback. But then everything else is outside your hands. It's outside our hands.
Yeah.
Now it's up to the director. Now it's up to the client. Now it's up to the person who's signing the check, who they're going to select.
What are some don'ts in the audition room?
Okay, I don't know why it just popped into my head. Heavy fragrances and heavy, male and female. I know people can be very sensitive in a room. I'm not, but other people can. What if the client is? What if my assistant is that day? Just be mindful of that, and then and also wear deodorant and all that stuff too. Avoid it being social hour in the waiting room. People are trying to concentrate. People are trying to, and then you don't want to create all this extra noise. If we're casting next door, there might be thin walls. So yeah, I know y'all want to catch up, but sometimes I'll pop my head on, but hey guys, can we save it for afterwards, or can y'all go grab a coffee afterwards, or something like that, because if two people start talking to the other two, and then they're all competing over their volume, and then we can hear it inside the other room, and then I shouldn't be able to hear it on my tape, so that can be an issue as well. And being mindful of not just the neighbors. What if I'm sharing the space with someone else? Office supplies. I don't mind stapling a resume to the back of a headshot, but shouldn't it be common sense that we're going to want the headshot and the resume if we ask for them, so have it ready before you go in.
What are some misconceptions actors have about casting directors?
I feel like people think that we're not on their side. No, we're your biggest cheerleader, if you will. We're your biggest supporter, because it's our job to bring in the best people for the job. I've heard a couple different ways of saying this. We've invited you to this audition personally. No, it's true. We only have so many hours in the day, so many time slots. We want to make sure that everyone we bring in, we think, can book it. So automatically coming into the door, getting that notice from your agent, getting that email inviting you to audition. I feel the difference between casting directors versus productions who do their own casting. We don't do cattle calls. We don't do open calls where we want to see anybody and everybody from 2 o'clock to 4 or 5. No, I need to handpick everyone who's coming through that door. Another misconception, that we're the decision makers. We do not make the decision. We present the best options to our client and to the decision maker. But at the end of the day, it's up to them to make that choice.
Thanks so much for watching today's episode with our guest Michael Druck. He's been amazing. Stay tuned for more tips and information regarding the Texas film industry.
You're amazing. Thank you for having me.